Hey guys, Al2 here, 316RC, back today with an update on the MTXL build. Let me swing you around here and show you how we resolved the problems that were in part 3. If you didn't see part 3, you can go ahead and check that out on my channel. You can see parts 1 and 2 as well. But let me show you here what we did. As you remember, check this front end out. I have this front end all done. Beautiful gap racing aluminum arms, turnbuckles, FID shock tower, differential mounts, DGI racing front chassis brace, gap racing chassis brace. Just beautiful. I am really happy with this color combination. I think it really looks awesome. So yeah, things are looking up after the last video with all those problems. I'll show you right here. Here was our major problem with these extra big turnbuckles. Were hitting the FID casing. The casing mounts for the differential. As you can see, we got nice good clearance now. You can go back and look at part 3, and you can see there was a big round hump here. It isn't really used for anything. Go ahead and use the trusty Dremel tool, and you can see the two lines right there. That's where I ground her down. Plenty of clearance now. That problem's resolved. If you recall, on the center diff, we had a problem with, I bought the upgraded 61 tooth spur gear, and it was out of round. Yeah, very surprising. And a big shout out, though, to DDM. Talked to them. Steve over there said no problem. Shipped me a new spur gear right out, so we're going to go ahead and get that out and hopefully get that mounted up on the center diff. So yeah, you gotta like DDM. You know, total support for the product, no questions asked. I told him it was out around. He said no big deal. Don't even send it back. I'll send you a new one right out. Had it within like 3 or 4 days. So really can't complain at all. You just gotta give a big thumbs up to them for the product support. Moving on to the rear, things are looking up. We got our arms on in the back. I'm getting ready to put the axles on. I'm going to swing you down here and show you what I like to do for these axles. These are the upgraded gap racing. So we're going to go ahead and show those axles as well, and how I like to prepare them and how we put those on. So yeah, that's what's going on with the truck. Everything is coming along beautifully. I can't be more happy. After that last video, we went from sad, now we're glad. So yeah, let's swing down here and let's get these axles ready to be put on. Alright, just want to go over something real quick. These gap racing 8mm dog bones, these are really nice. But be careful, because I don't know if you can see this, but see if I can get in a little closer. You can see right here, there is a grub screw. It's the wrong size bit, but there's a grub screw right here. And this one is actually loose. So there's one here, and in here on the CV section, I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see that right there. There's one here as well. So if you end up using these, I don't know about other dog bones, but you need to go ahead and take these grub screws out and put some Loctite on them and make sure they're good and locked up. All right. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. So let's go ahead and pull this out. There we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this back in. when you're doing this, make sure this pin does not move and stays centered. You want the same amount sticking out of each side of the ball. Alright, that one's set. Now we're going to go ahead and get this guy out. Need just enough angle to get your tool in there. I know it's hard to see, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Again, that holds this pin in. See this pin right here on each side? Holds this pivot pin in. A little bit of Loctite on there. Go ahead and put that down in there. Alrighty, good to go. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these boots on. Now if you guys don't have one of these, this is almost a must-have. This is the boot tool from Fast Eddie. Now these are made to fit, as you can see, a lot bigger axle. I think is made for the HPI Baja clones. As you can see, it's made for these grooves to fit the pin, but in my case it does not, because it's too short. Doesn't fit across. So I still use this. The way you use this tool is you grease this up really good, and I like to use like silicone shop grease, like 40 or 50. Grease this up real good. Turn your boots inside out. Turn them inside out. For purposes I'm not going to show you, but if this was inside out, you slide this over and then you pull as you hold this, and I like to use a rag, and you start pulling this boot down over, and once you get it on, then you just flip it back the other way, and now the inside out becomes the outside in. Does that sound right? So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put some grease on here. Be generous. Smear it all around. Here's our inside out boot, which we're going to slip that down over like this. Put our tool in here and then push. And this is where I like to get a towel or a rag. It helps push, especially if this thing gets all greasy. You can see it starts to go over, and you keep pushing it. Now when you get to the top, make sure that it's completely straight. And just keep slowly working it down over. Just keep pushing and working it. And you end up with such. There it is. So now all I've got to do is flip this back from inside out to outside in. Alright, and there we have it. Alright, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put a boot on the CV joint end or not, but I decided I am. So before tightening up that grub screw, you really need to take this off and put the boot on first. If you don't, you can put them both on this end, but you must put the one for the CV joint on first, and that would be not inside out, because it would be the opposite direction. So if you do it from this end, make sure you put the first boot on and then put the second boot on inside out. Alright, going to go ahead and get this axle mounted up. like to use some Team Fast Eddy, and I just take some and just let's pull this boot back a little bit and just dip the dog bone in a little bit. Here comes the tricky part. Slide that in. Now here comes the tricky part, getting these boots on, and these can be a, you guys know these can be a pain, so I like to try to get a groove in the drive cup, and I try to be careful with your pliers. I try to get these boots started if I can. These are I think we got it. Oh, almost. Try to keep that first piece on and slide that over. And that's it. You just got to keep working it till you get that on. You just got to keep working it. Just be very careful that you don't tear your boot. Very careful of that. So, alright, let's go ahead and put our carrier on. Butter grease. Get our lock nut. Alrighty, there we go. Nice. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put on these beautiful Gap Racing links. So there's a little sleeve piece that you need to put in each ball. These fall out real easy, so you kind of got to hold them in. Let's get our screw in here. Just kind of put it like that. Now these are lock nuts, but I'm still going to use a drop of Loctite on it anyway. Just a drop. Good and snug. Down here we got the same thing with the sleeve. These ball ends here are really smooth. Really smooth. So we're going to go in and put our mold in. Alright, once again I'm just going to use a drop Loctite on there. Be careful not to over tighten these because you'll start squeezing the plastic. Just till it's snug. Very nice. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this axle, dog bone, and link put on the other side. Alright, got both sides done. Gap Racing turnbuckles and dog bone axles. Everything looks really really happy with the way things came out there. Everything fit up nice. Alright, I'm going to stop right there. This video is getting too long. So next video, we're going to finish the rest of this drivetrain. Make sure that new center spur gear is nice and running true. And I will have an announcement coming on the engine and pipe that has been selected for this truck. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for watching. Al2 here, 316 RC. I'll see you next time on Part 5.